And we are live over on YouTube, so might just fix that up. Bergman, not for me. I just don't feel like that role is totally his for the Houston role. So no, I would go elsewhere, mate. I've just got to tell a few people where I'm at on the YouTube live. I think I've butchered this, guys. Shorty tries to go full tech mode and he just has butchered it. Hopefully a few people can follow me over there. Brent Daniels. Nah, it's got to be Horn Francis. And I'm not too keen on DeConing either. Thanks for the share, Tamika. Matt Kennedy. He becomes slightly more relevant, but no, probably not one that I'd go with. I think Sanders will benefit the most. Don't mind Paddy Cripps as a bit of a pod. Don't mind that. Yeah, Kako definitely plays round one, mate. Definitely. Fraser or Roberts. I go Roberts, but I think they're both pretty good picks. You could have them both. At the moment, I've got Roberts and Perryman. Ed Langdon. Nah, not for me. Not a bad draft option. He actually got a bit more time in the guts, but no, not for me. Not for me. Chera, not a lock for me, mate. Just the body worries me, but one to definitely consider. Isaac, thoughts on Boxall and Camperali? Yeah, don't mind it. Don't mind it, but probably prefer the Saints. Or you could mount a case for both. But Jack, what's going on with the YouTube? Fill me in. What is going on? It looks like we're up and running. Yeah. You told me it's glitching. How so? What's going on? What are you seeing, mate? What are you seeing? I will. One job, says Justin. I am going to. Thanks everyone for joining in and all the comments. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the follows and the shares. I will be continuing the chat over at YouTube, which apparently is glitching, but we'll see how we go. We got 20 people over there, so if someone could give me an, I'm getting absolute hate in the comments. But anyway, I should probably attend to that. Thank you, Nate. Thanks for the follow, mate. Feel free to come over to YouTube if you want to continue the chat. I will talk to you guys live on Monday. And, yeah, we'll chat to you then. Cheers, guys. YouTube, I apologize. What's going on, hey? What is going on? What has Shorty done this time? Can people tell me if we are? I got told it was glitching. From my end, it's looking okay. Can people tell me? Because I got no idea what's happened. I was literally in the waiting bay as well. Let's go drive through. It's working now. Looks good. Cool. I think it was because I had the stream going and the other one. Now, wouldn't you think the easiest thing for YouTube to do would be, as the creator, when you're in the bay and time ticks over, just give me a fucking go live button. Wouldn't that be easier? Does anyone know what to actually do there? I assume there was some other part to the puzzle that I should have done. So, sorry. Yes, amusement. I'm aware I'm a poor technician. Look, you don't come here for the tech knowledge, and maybe you don't even come for the SuperCoach knowledge the way I've been going, but at least you come for a bit of a laugh, mate. Come for a bit of a laugh. If someone was in TikTok, was it doing this on TikTok? I don't exactly know what that means, but I'm going to go to the top and answer some questions. Hello, amusement. Flag Blues, what is up? Sanger. Good to see you, mate. Anthony, thoughts on Lockie Neal? Yeah, I think he definitely comes into consideration for sure with the buys. Matty Granger, hey, how's it going, mate? Good, mate. How are you? What's news, my friend? Jordan, what did I tell you about Petrarca, Shorty? Well, yeah, he did look good. I personally don't have the guts to start him after a fairly interrupted preseason, but he did look all right. Jack, first again, mate. Give me ruler or something, mate. No, I do appreciate the love. Thank you. Also, while I've got everyone, I'll go live on Monday because I'm on school camp like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. So I can't go live clearly at the camp. But I'm going to do it on Monday, long weekend. So, yeah. Host, how do you think Joel Frazier will go this year? Yes, I actually think that's a good point. For me, I think he's worth discussing. Good price, good role. My only setback would be we didn't get a look at him with Dale, which would have been great just to get a feel because Dale will be the main guy. Can Frazier still get enough of the ball? I think so, but would have loved to see a bit of a look with him. That's it, amusement. Yeah, he's getting stuck into me. Matt, where do you think Nick Martin finishes amongst the top defenders? Oh, it's hard to give you an exact number, but I think he's in the conversation for top 8. I probably wouldn't have him in the top 3 or 4, but I think he's around that mark. If you said what's Nick Martin going to average, I'd say it's around that 105, 106. Blessed he is a good time to go to McDonald's for the Wi-Fi run. Oh, mate, pray for me, bro. Pray for me. We can't have the internet going on me for a third week. James, thoughts on starting Neil, Dacos, and Sarong? That's a big midfield. I don't mind it. If you can afford it, go for it. Aya's got a few questions. Love it. No worries, Detroit. We'll talk later, mate. Bo Allen, 13, but has the defensive mid option. Can we still field him? Yeah, we can. Probably would have loved to see more clearly, but I do think we can still start him for sure because we are pretty light on. So if he's named, he's got to come into the consideration. He might just be one of those rookies that maybe doesn't score as well as we would like. Gaming HD. Mate, this was your baby too, doing the premiere. I half nailed it, but back to the drawing board, mate. I tell you, it's a wonder I can even run a channel, mate. I can barely work out half this technology stuff, mate. Flag Blues, big backline for me. Got Sheasel, Wanganeen, Miller, Stewart, and Roberts. Yes, respect that. And I think the backline's where we do have to go big because it's clearly where we've got the least amount of rookies and particularly the ones we can trust to score. So batting pretty deep in the midfield, I think, is smart. Jonas, Shorty doesn't know how. No shit from Shield. Whoa. James, is your team 100% locked in, Shorty? Other than rookies, obviously just finished locking in mine. Yeah, I would say it is. I would say it is, mate. I mean, we do a lot of chopping and changing through the preseason, don't we? But yeah, I think aside from rookies and barring any real surprises, I feel pretty locked. Yeah. Gaming HD, Shorty can't understand a sentence. Oh boy. I think this might have been when the lag was happening. Hopefully that's all good now. Reese, Shorty missed you, mate. Good to have you back. When's the next league code dropping? And your thoughts on Logan Evans? Oh, mate, good to have you back. I might have to drop a league code for you guys tonight. Logan Evans, not so much. I think the natural inclination would be that, he can pick up some points without Houston, but I don't really see anyone benefiting hugely from it rather than a bit of a sprinkling from Farrell and maybe Burton and maybe sometimes Evans and maybe even Finlayson at this rate. But no, I don't think anyone's going to take an absolute scoop of all his points and just explode. GG, could Sard be a good pick considering Newman is out? I don't think so. No, he's too hot and cold for mine. Sometimes he still gets these little lockdown jobs and sometimes he just runs amok. So I found Sard over the years a really hard pick to get a read on. So yeah, he could come out and average high 90s, but I don't feel comfortable starting with him. If he gets a role and he's flying, we could always bring him in, but I wouldn't want to start with him. Jonas, Shorty is a soft tissue king. He's soft. Oh, you're a bad man. Daniel, he's got it working. Yeah, mate. Thank God for that. We are only just getting there sometimes. Hello, D-Mac. What's up? Thank you, Aya. Thank you. Thank you, guys, for letting me know it is all working. Tex, what's up, mate? Hey, Luke. G'day, Shorty. How are you? I'm pretty good. Thank you, mate. Pretty good. When do you reckon the Suns v Dons game will be played? In regard to the Cats v Lions game, that will be round 3, you'd reckon. Yeah, you'd think so. I think the only way they could do the Suns game and the Bombers is flicking over one of their buys. I think they'll flip a buy, play it in that common buy after they flip it, and then, yeah, maybe just a bit of a tinkering depending on how many days breaks and different bits and pieces. But I think that's probably the play. Where are we? We have scroll down a bit. There we go. Luke, also, how surprised are you that both games got postponed? Oh, not very. I mean, yes, it's obviously a bit of a shock, but once we had the info of what was going on, it became pretty clear of what had to happen. So yeah, pretty straightforward choice in the end. Blesty looking beautiful, thank you. Crazy Tree, Rankin and a rookie, or Sanders and Baz? That's tough. I mean, if you put I love Rankin. I love him. I reckon he's a great option. But if you put it like that, I've got to go Sanders and Baz. I think that's going to give you the better return between the two. Jay Hawking, thoughts on Noah Anderson? Yeah, I mean, the only query on him is getting those numbers up away from home. So if he can do that, lock and load him, mate. And the change in buy certainly helps. So, yeah, I think we probably wouldn't mind a bit of clarity because I guess with the Geelong and Brisbane players, we're just assuming it's round 3. So they lose their buy. Be interesting to see what they do with the other game. Jack, Dacos, Sarong, Day, Oliver, Garcia, Sardis, O'Sullivan, O'Driscoll. Thoughts? Yep, that looks pretty good to me, mate. A fairly similar setup to me structure-wise. Maybe one extra super primo. But no, you can certainly work with that. Shorty, I have some insider info. Here we go. A lot of people, including me, are flexing Matt Flynn with Cherry and deconing R1, R2. No, I like that. Look, I think it's probably the plague. I mean, I am going risky with Flynn at R2. I acknowledge that. It's a risk. But yeah, I think probably to minimize. I feel like Flynn is in that area where, yeah, we could take a risk, but it feels like less of a risk in the flex. So I can see why people would be doing that. D-Mac, got my draft tonight. Pressure's on. Got any tips? Oh, good luck, mate. When does it start? My tips would be, don't miss the ruck race. Someone will pick a ruck and it'll just kickstart the ruck run. And there's only probably 3 or 4 that you really want. So make sure that you tip off that run. And I always think you can find good averaging midfielders even late in the draft. So build up your back line and forward line, obviously within reason. Don't go crazy, but keep it balanced. Daniel, do we agree that opening round should just be gone? Absolutely, mate. I hate how many buys it creates, and not even just for SuperCoach, but it's so unequal and it just feels messy. And then you finally get through the buys, then we've got like a month of mid-season buys. Fans just don't like them. And Sard, I touched on him earlier. It's a pass for me. Maybe a wait and see if he does get a favourable role. Josh, still rolling the mustache. That's mighty bold of you. Hey, thanks, Josh. Jeez, look, won't take it too personally, mate. Rookie coach, what's good, Shorty? Not much, mate. How are you? Or hopefully something's good. But Stuart has made his way into my team. He could be a decent pod. Yeah, look, I think with the buy being removed from the calculations, yeah, I think that's a fair point. I do like him. I think he's underpriced. So fair call. Morris, TDK or Gorn? I'd go Deconing. I think that extra bit of cash, he's going to get the opportunity without pitting it. So, yeah, I think that extra cash for what I think would be a similar output. Maybe that's underselling Gorn, but I think it'll be relatively similar, particularly early. Camp stream. Oh, mate, the students will be asking for it. I was doing this one kid the other day and we're having a full deep chat. Like I'm in wellbeing, so we're having a real chat. And then he goes, I like your TikToks, man. So crazy. It comes up daily. It's pretty amusing. Blesty, Neil and Zorko, I'm definitely considering. Yeah, definitely a consider. I prefer Neil of the two. I still feel like Zorko will be interrupted a bit with Coleman returning. I think it has to. But when and how that looks, we'll see. Joshy Thurgood from Sanger. Wow, that's a name from the past. Luke, Shorty, what are your thoughts on Gary Lyon as a host of 360? You reckon he's performed well? Also, lots have changed on 360. It feels like a fresh start for the show with the new graphics and that. Yeah, I like Gary. I must admit, I'm not liking the overall setup. They changed the music. He doesn't even say it's footy from all angles. I just think they've tried to change it too much. It feels like I get it's a different host, so it changed the show a bit, but it feels like a totally different show. It's okay. I'm sure we'll get used to it, but no, I can't say I love it. Snakey, what do your rucks look like at the moment? And is Flynn worth R2? Look, I think I'm out on a limb here, but yes, Flynn is my R2, and yeah, it's risky. I'll be the first to admit, but that's the way I'm going. So yeah, it is certainly risky. I'm not going to endorse it, but it is what I'm doing, and I've copped a bit of flack for it. But easy, Sam Darcy or Simpkin. I don't really like either. I think there's far better options in the forward line, particularly mid-price. But if I had to, I'd go Sam Darcy. Luke, what were your thoughts on the couch and on Monday night? Actually, haven't watched it. I might have a look tonight. Personally, I can't stand Jack Rewell. I can't stand Jordan Lewis. I can't stand Nathan Buckley. Like, can't stand them is probably a harsh call. They're not my favourites, but I might give it a look. Was it worth a look? Anthony, thoughts on Jordan Clark? Yeah, pretty safe and reliable. Pretty safe and reliable pick, I think. So you're about paying what you'd expect, but I think it's pretty reliable. Thanks for everyone who's putting through the comments too. If you are new to the YouTube setup, it's a bit different to TikTok. TikTok, you just answer whatever's coming up on the screen, but YouTube, I will go through each of them individually. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an indication of how far away your question is to being answered. But please be patient with me. I'll get to you, don't worry. But just working through them one by one. David Lynch, I can't talk myself out of Liberatore. Planning to ride him until Bont is back, then flip. Thoughts? Look, there's no absolute guarantee. Like, I can't imagine that he's getting more opportunity in the midfield. Like, he has always got bulk opportunity in the midfield when he's playing as a mid. So I personally think that his average will still be around 105. Because last year, Bont plays a full season. What's Libba's CBAs? Oh, it'd be fantastic if it could just load. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, look, we'll get back to that. It'd be really nice when we're trying to make a point if that could just load. But anyway, my point being is I wouldn't really want to start a premium with the anticipation of flipping them. We'll come back to that. Swank, Rory Laird is going to be back to his best on the halfback flank. Yeah, I think he'll be a good pick, but I don't really feel like starting him. My projected average would be between 100 and 105, and you're not exactly getting him at a discounted price. And I think the risk would be if Adelaide, say their midfield's getting smashed early, or Matt Crouch goes down with a hammy, and they'd be like, oh, look, chuck Rory in there. All of a sudden, you might not get that DPP, and you're left with a awkwardly priced mid who's not one of the best. But I'd prefer to go elsewhere for a start. All right, we're finally loaded. Libba last year was in 72% of centre bounces. To put that in perspective, Bont was in 75%. So it's marginal. It's marginal that the extra minutes Libba will get. I get the hype, but I do think it is marginal. Just chucking a couple of notes down because I want to do a bit of video. You guys give me a good feel for what people are talking about. So I just jotting a few notes down. Adam Cher is probably another one who's been a bit of a talking point. Blessy, thoughts on Connor O'Sullivan ready for round one with the Cats? Yeah, I think he will be. I see him best 22. Originally, I was a bit worried about starting him because of the bye, and I had a lot of bye players, but in the backline particularly. But yeah, I think he becomes a pretty good pick. We talked about Newman and Sard. Touched on that one. Sam Darcy for me, mate. D-Mac, what picks should Butters go in draft? I'm really undecided. Both top three mids, but don't want to jump the gun as both out for a third of the year. Yeah, it probably depends how long your draft season goes for. If it's going all the way to round 20, you probably still pick them early. I would make sure that you lock in a playing premium mid early and then a playing premium ruck. But hey, if they're still on the table by round like pick 12 or 13, I think you've got to take them. I think you've got to. Because they could be a pretty sneaky pick. Sanger, what's the difference between my dad and Shorty? Nothing. Both suck at technology. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Senators or senators, I don't know how to say it. What's going on, Shorty? Not too much, mate. Not too much. Just learning some tech, man. You know, we're just learning a bit of tech. Tell you what, it's stuffy in here. I'm half tempted to turn the aircon on, I reckon. But Luke, how did you feel about Jack Rewalt hosting on the couch? I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like Rewalt, you know, he deserves a spot in the media, but how do you go from just like some special comments dude to the main hosting job? I don't know. Wait and see, I guess. Maybe I'll give it a bit of watch tonight. Jack, Shorty pulling a G-Burst granny performance with his lives recently. I know. I appreciate your patience. I really do. But look, we played a bit around with the internet over the last week. I think that's been going okay. But yeah, full discretion, technology is not my strong suit. So, James, please, a decent back to start for 140K. Well, O'Sullivan would be around that mark. And then really, I'm just looking at Cleary, who's a bit more expensive, Trainer, Reed, Leak. They're about the only ones. I mean, Allen, you still might consider. Didn't score great, but you still might consider. Flag Blues, thoughts on top and later draft picks? Look, I think, like I said before, I always reckon you can find a good midfielder late in the draft. There's just so many that average 90 plus compared to like forward and defense. So I would make sure that I'm just slightly stacking the back line and forward line before the midfield, obviously in a bit of a balanced order. But yeah. Do I go Petrarca and Rosie or LDU? Where is that gone? I hate when it just uploads and takes me right down to the bottom. Or LDU and Day. Oh, absolutely LDU and Day for me. Absolutely. Justin, missed all league codes so far. People too fast. Or look, Justin, if you hang around long enough, mate, I reckon we can sort a bit of a league code out live on air, mate. Gaming, I laughed my ass off watching you trying to start a stream. Can't help think it was my fault. You got a headache, yeah. I still can't believe how it could be this hard. How could it be this hard, mate? It's ridiculous, but I'm glad you got a laugh out of it. Bradman, if I make a Shorty's fan league, will people join? Mate, I'll join. Bloody oath. Marcus, is Zorko good to start? Look, yeah, he's an all right pick. I just wouldn't go with him just because Coleman will come back and he'll line up at halfback, and it's not going to totally throw Zorko off, but it could affect him. And I don't really like starting a premium where I feel like they could be affected within the first month or so. Dylan, thoughts on the back line of Sheasel, Zorko, Houston, Short, Perryman, and Fraser? I know it's deep, but I'm not too keen on the defenders. Look, that back line is fine. It's probably just where do you lose out elsewhere is the question. If you feel like because ultimately we've got to start rookies somewhere. You have obviously preference to start more in the midfield, which you're probably comfortable with. I think batting to 5 is about right. You could get away with 4, but I totally get the thought process. Absolutely. Ashton, hey, Shorty, how do you like this backline? Sheasel, Holmes, Roberts, Perryman, Fraser, and Reed. Very similar to the one before. So, yeah, same thoughts. I like the structure. I think 5's about the go. Shrimpy O'Halloran, Liam Reedy, or Harry Boyd as the ruck bench. You could probably chuck Archie Reed in there too. I'm going to have to wait on the teams for this one. Just going to have to wait on the teams because I don't think either will play a huge amount of games. Honestly, Archie Reed almost feels like the most likely, but that's one to just wait and see on the teams. Jack, thoughts on Zorko getting belted by rain? I don't know if I saw this, but I assume he's right in the thick of it. Is he up there? Shrimpy, ruck bench choices. Yeah, like we said, probably Reedy, Archer Reed, or Boyd. Jack Boyle is gone. I'm going Gorn and TDK. Nice, mate. I think that is pretty solid. I'm just going to chuck the aircon on, man. It's hot in here, bro. Give me one sec. Maths? Shit. Keep me updated, bro. Thanks. Tough times missing maths, guys. Pretty serious stuff. Braden, I have Dacos and Merritt. Can't afford anyone. Who should be the third? Sarong, I reckon. I would go Sarong or LDU, I reckon. Luke, the Suns and Dons game should not be played at the end of the season. It will make the ladder uneven for the entire season. Don't know how they'll get the game going. Looks difficult with the fixture. You'd imagine, yeah, they'd flick around some buys and stuff, but yeah, they'll want to wrap that one up neat and tidy in the first 6 weeks, I reckon. So yeah, like you said, I don't think they'll be waiting all that time. Justin, Ruck, then halfbacks are first in draft. And definitely mids. Definitely premium mids. Shrimpy, Ruck bench. Oh, yeah, we're getting a bit of that. Well, yeah, Boyd, Reed, or Reedy as well. So, but we're going to just know from the teams, really. Morris, best forward rookies. Yeah, look, I think Connor Stone, Elijah Hewitt, Kako, Davidson. Don't know if there's many more. Sort of cooled off on Curtin. I don't really like Lynch. Yeah, I'd have to say they're the main ones. Just wondering, just going through now. Like Erasmus is popular, but I just feel like he's a bit on the fringe. Don't know if he'll be locked. Feels like a bit of a sub risk. Max Hall's getting a bit of love. Again, I'm not sure how locked in he is. There's Archer Reed with some dual position. Yeah, so they'd probably be the ones for me. Big Dog, Disco, what's up, mate? Ryder, what do you reckon about Trent Rivers? Just didn't do enough for me. Didn't do enough. I would have needed him to really impress in the preseason. I felt that he was quite affected by the return of some of those big dog mids. So, yeah, probably a pass for him. DMAC, draft time's 9:30. I'm commissioner. Should I rig the lead to give me the best pick? I don't know if pick 1 is even that beneficial. I've always found pick 3 or 4 just to be perfect in the snaking ones. But how would you normally decide it? Like, what are you doing to decide the order? Because that's big. Josh, who do you think will win the flag this year? Go Lions. Honestly, I feel like the Giants are half a shout. I think they're a very good chance to win. It's so wide open. I mean, I'm optimistic about my Cats. Of course, yeah, Brisbane will be up there too. So, yeah, it's something like the Hawks as well could really continue their rise. Adam says Short or Perryman. I'm going Perryman. I just prefer the midfield role. I just don't really like how reliant on that uncontested pill Short is. I like the Perryman role just a bit more. Thanks for all the comments too, guys. I'll do my absolute best to smash through them, but I do appreciate, all your comments and getting around it. Thanks very much. Luke, thoughts on not starting Sheasel? What's the point? So many own him. So if you own Sheasel and he gets 120, whatever. If you have Zorko instead, he gets 150. Sheasel gets an 80. That's a big difference. Feel like I have to start Chera. He's gone. He's going to rip us apart in the first round. Well, yeah, of course. If Zorko gets 150 and Sheasel gets 120, yeah, or an 80. But what if Sheasel does what we all expect and he averages 120? And Zorko, what if Coleman comes back or he's 36 and he ages a bit and he averages 102? Then you're losing 15, 20 points per game. So that'd be the risk. Like, yeah, of course, if you've got doubts on a premium, don't go with them. You might get a leg up on the rest. But the doubt is that if the Sheasel train really rockets away from the station, you'll be left on the Borden platform, mate. That would be the risk. Dreezy, if you go Flynn R2, it's open up to get 2 defenders. It opens up to get 2 defenders. Yeah. Look, I think that would be the risk versus reward, wouldn't it? If you go Flynn R2, big risk, but you might be able to bump up some other areas. That's why I did it. For me, Flynn and R2 just allowed me to have Roberts and Perryman and go a little bit deeper in my backline, which I felt more comfortable. I felt more comfortable exposing Flynn at R2 than some of these other rookies at D4, 5, or 6. And you mentioned Chera before, one of those other guys. Don't mind him. It's just the body. It's just the body that worries me. The scoring, I think they'll be fine. Zach Taylor, Shorty, rolling with Taranto as a pod for my mid. I know he's a poor user of the ball, but the amount of mid he plays and how cheap he is, I'm surprised not many have him. Well, clearly he's a ball magnet, but it is the ball use that is the worry. And I mean, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You already touched on it there, but he's a hard watch too because he might have 36, but he's butchered a bit and he scores 108. Like I find it. I mean, for example, his average last year, SuperCoach 94. What was his AFL fantasy? Normally a bit of a interesting one. It's 95, but yeah, look, I don't know. He just worries me with the clangers, I must admit, but he will be a pod for you. Rookie coach, is there a player you're watching this week where the spot in your team is dependent on their performance? Yeah, good point. Let me have a look at my side. Not really. Nah, I'm going to say no. To be honest, those days were last week when I was really honing in on Roberts and Perryman. They were probably the ones, and the rookies. Oh, I like to go a bit of gut feel. I don't like to be too reactive to the prackies, but there's a few players that I needed to be convinced on, and Roberts and Perryman certainly did convince me. Luke, you reckon I play Libba instead of Rosie or Will Day? Of all of them, I think Will Day is the guy, personally. I think Rosie, big tag risk. Libba, I think, is low hundreds to 105. Will Day, to me, is the guy most likely to hit 110. Adam, I love Bucks, but yeah, leave Lewis and Rewalt. Yeah, fair play. Fair. Shrimpy, Ruck bench choices. Yeah, like I think we touched on that one before. Cleary, yeah, not a bad option. Liked his intercepting game for the Dogs. Sort of that third tall could link up. Handy VFL numbers laid. So, yeah, if Cleary's named in the best 22 with Dale, then, yeah, we could be every chance. Morris, Roberts, or Short? I'd be going Roberts. I'm just going to chuck Roberts, Perryman, Short. Yeah, just the way I'm approaching it, I just feel like Roberts, better side, going to get a bit more easy ball. I know Short had 20 touches in the first half of the pracky when Richmond were a bit more competitive. In the second half, he had 5 touches when they got smashed, like destroyed. Collingwood kicked like 20 goals in a row. That'd be my concern, is that Short is a receiver, uncontested player. If Richmond are struggling that bad, they can barely win the footy back and they turn into witches' hats. He's going to find it hard to get the footy. And then you can mount the other case that the ball's going to be down there a lot. He has to get the footy. So it depends which way you look at it. But I feel more comfortable with Matt Roberts. Luke, yeah, I'd say give the latest on the couch episode a watch. All right, mate, I will give it a look tonight. Saying in my mids are Josh Bootsman, Haas Vickery, Raph Clark, Zach Dawson, and my captain, Jack Watts. That is an all-time Spud tease type of setup. I love that, mate. I love that. Luke, when you watch it, would love to know what your thoughts are. All right, thanks, mate. I'll try and keep you posted, or we might talk on the live next week, which will be Monday. I'll go live on Monday because I'm on school camp, if anyone wasn't here when I said that before. D-Mac, pretty set on my classic team. Last final call. What do you think? Finn O'Sullivan and Bo Allen and 113K mid and a massive pod in Logue, another defense around that price. I've heard Logue come up a little bit. I'm just not too interested in. I know he's a handy player, can intercept, decent left boot, but you'd have to be pretty brave. I'll look into him more, but no, my gut feel is no. Anthony, M1's Lockie Neal, Dacos, then Day, Oliver. Yeah, mate, that's fine. 2 big premiums, then a couple of more mid-price. That's fine, mate. That's looking good. Crocker does never get more CBAs than Danger. Do we load up with Dons and Suns if they play twice in a week? Oh, look, that's one. The second one, we've just got to wait and see what the AFL does. Yes, potentially. If they're getting double points for the week, then yeah, that would feel really inequitable if that did happen, but wait and see. Your first one, I would be stunned if Nevitt gets more CBAs than Danger. Yes, Dangerfield will play a little bit more forward, but let's not be in any doubt. If the game's on the line, Dangerfield's playing midfield. And Nevitt, mate, you're out on a wing. So I'd make no doubts about that. But maybe they'll give him every opportunity, Nevitt, because they have in the preseason games. Still hasn't convinced me, mind you. Hockball, thoughts on Weddle? It's an awkward price, and I just don't think he's got a defined enough role. He's a bit second ruck. He's a bit half back. He's a bit sort of all over the shop. Super talent, but I just like a little bit more clarity to take a risk on a guy at that price. Erkland, thoughts on Griffin Logue at 245? I'm going to have a bit of a look. He must have done something half decent in the practice game, I'm guessing, if people are. And is he 245? I actually didn't realize. I thought he was more 300. Let's have a bit of a look. Take a look at some stats. So 76, 14 touches, a solid score at the price. And I reckon in years gone by, he has averaged high 80s, hasn't he? Or am I just making that up? I am just making that up. He averaged 74 as a max. Nah, probably not. Look, it's not the worst pick, but probably not for me. Luke, we need a YouTube league. Yeah, we do, mate. We do. Look, hopefully you guys have all joined my SuperCoach group, but nah, this is the absolute core of the channel. Guys that rock up on the YouTube live, absolute core supporters. So I do appreciate you guys. Jack Boyle, trainer, or O'Sullivan? Probably both. This is one that really, we can speculate all we like, but it's got to be more down to the teams. I think if trainer is picked, you pick him. I think if O'Sullivan is picked, you pick him. So trainers, job security, probably a bit better just because it's a weaker Richmond side. But I really do like them both as two young defenders. Supercoach Pro, yo, Shorty, want to do a potty this week? Yes, I do. I just have no idea when I would fit it in at this point. Because my week is full. And I'm on camp next week. Shoot me a message, mate, because I do want to do one, but I just got to find out when. So let's touch base. Luke, what are your thoughts when they open 360? Feels a bit weird when them standing and opening the show instead of the old version. Yeah, I feel like they've gone a bit like, I don't know, a bit too upper class, you know? It's a bit of a professional setup now with Jared over here and then Gary Lyon over here. We're very serious, couple of serious operators in 360. I don't know. It's lost that casual knockabout feel, which I guess Robbo brought, clearly. He was about as loose as you get. So maybe it's just a different tack. But even just the music, it feels a bit more like newsbreakery. But back when the old music used to play, you were just like, oh, yeah, I'm at home now. I'm chilling with a couple of mates talking footy. Just feels a bit too polished for me. I don't know. Josh, what's the difference between my dad and Shorty? Nothing. Both roll a mustache. I'm going to do a bit of a poll. And it's nothing to do with SuperCoach. Do we like the new AFL 360 vibe? Because, yeah, I must admit, I've had mixed reviews. I'm personally not a fan. But every time I make a poll, I've got to go all the way back up. Bazooka, how are we going, Horty? Good to be back for another year. Good to see you, mate. I'm going to have to set a weekly alarm for streamers. I always forget. Oh, thanks, mate. No, it's good to see you. Prime time SuperCoach chat right now, isn't it? And for those playing along at home, or if you missed it, my live pre-first lockout will be on Monday as I'm at school camp next week. Hockball, McGovern or Zorko? I'm thinking long-term that Zorko's role might be affected by Coleman coming in. I agree. They both, I mean, the risk with Zorko is what you outlined. The risk with McGovern is his body. But we know Coleman will be back. We don't know that McGovern gets injured. So on that rationale, I would go McGovern. Tiger Rewald, hey, Snorty, is having Perryman, Short, and Roberts as D3, 4, and 5 too much. Don't like any backline rookies or many other primos. Mid prices, happy to get rid of Perryman. What do you think? Who for? I don't mind it, to be honest, because I'm with you. I think if you can bat to 5 in your backline without it throwing too much out, I think that's a good call. Of those 3, if I had to rank them, it would go Roberts, Perryman, then Short, if that helps you make any type of decision. Shrimpy, oh yes, Reedy or Boyd in the ruck, mate. I think we touched on this earlier. That's just one that we have to wait for the teams. My gut feel would be Boyd, but it really depends on Marshall. It really depends on Sean Darcy. So probably just need to get a bit more clarity around the teams. Hugh, that's a good name there. Do we play Finlayson? Gee, you'd be brave. You'd be braver than me. I mean, I couldn't. One really good game off halfback. Probably one really good quarter, to be honest. His first quarter was huge. Maybe if we were, like, if this was the back line, yeah, because we're looking for options. But in the forward line, we're not searching for those type of options. We don't need to stretch that far. Hockball, Clark or Short and extra cash? I'd go Clark. I think if you can lock in a genuine premium, unless that extra cash really helps you dramatically with something else you're cooking up, then yeah, that's the way I'd go. And a lot of people not really liking the new 360 setup. Interesting. I'm with you, to be honest. Dylan, would you rather Cleary, Brayshaw, Peatling, or Trainer, Rosie, Rankin? Let's just absorb that one. Cleary, Brayshaw, Peatling. So it's basically the Trainer versus Cleary and then those guys. That is tough. I would go Trainer, Rosie, and Rankin, but that's a good one. That's a pretty tough one. He's also having trouble ranking these 3: Dawson, Rosie, and Day. Oh, I would go. Dawson did look good. Oh, he looked back to his best. Rosie's a clear 3 for mine, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the lad, but I think he's the 3rd in line when Butters is fit. And when Butters isn't fit, I think he's first in line to be tagged. If a team doesn't tag, he'll have some big days. Don't get me wrong, but I've got a bias towards Will Day. Probably Jordan Dawson is safer, but yeah, tough to split those. Detroit, my midfield looks good, I think. Sarong, Dacos, Cripps, D'Ambrosio, Oliver Draper, Sardis Draper on field. Thoughts? Not sure if Draper is locked and loaded. Feels like a real sub-risk for mine. The rest I really like. D'Ambrosio, I just don't see him really being a viable choice, I must admit. Because at his price, he's 470. So he averaged 87 last year. At that price, he has to take that to 105 plus. And I just think he's a guy that's going to float around your high 80s, early 90s. So not for me, but I like the rest of it. We answered that one from Shrimpy. Luke McMahon, not going to lie, I get what you're saying. AFL 360 kind of does feel like a different show with what they've done to it. Jared did say footy from all angles on Monday night and not said it since. Oh, interesting. Yeah, right. Because I feel like that's their thing, you know. They're still AFL 360. Like, don't throw everything out, you know. Daniel, did we see enough to like Brayshaw? If not, who would you put ahead of him? Oh, I don't think Brayshaw is someone we didn't need to be, proven his worth in a pracky. We know what he's about. I think for me, the knock on Brayshaw would be, hey, if you're looking for a guy that's consistently going to average around 110, go for your life. He's your man. But I just think there's other guys around his price. Like, say, an LDU could average 107, could genuinely go 115. Well, I don't think Brayshaw has that scope. So if you just need a safe guy, go for your life. He's very, very reliable. But others around him could go bang. I really liked that question before. And I found it a tough one. Day, Rosie, or Dawson. Now, I'll be interested to see. I feel like Rosie will get a bit of love, but I think he's the 3rd. I would have, well, I guess my team answers it. I've only got Will Day out of them. So I'm very keen to see what you guys say. Thanks for your contributions in there too. Where are we? Luke, seeing on Insta, I think they took a bit of time on the to redo the studio. Yeah, the studio feels like they're filming in a spaceship, but I don't. I can live with that. It's the core 360 stuff that I wanted to keep. Tiger Rewalt, best for 180k plus mid rookie shorty. Yeah, well, I think you've got to have Sardis. You've got to have O'Driscoll. Then you've gone 180 plus. Because I was going to say Sheldrick, but he's not in there, obviously. 180 plus. Levi Ashcroft. Must have him. And then, yeah, you're probably 180 plus. You'd probably still give it to Langford. Even though he's a bit cooler on the pracky the other day. Bazooka, thoughts on Gawn, Cherry Boyd, then Flynn as the flex. Yeah, I think that's a pretty popular combo. I like De Koning. I think he's really worth your time, but I can see how you would go that way as well. Senators, Petrarca or Dawson. I would go Dawson just because I think the preseasons looked a little more assured. I know track looked good on the weekend, but I just can't help but feel that he just can't come back to his absolute best after what he's been through, can he? So I don't know. That's just a gut feel. Justin is running 4 main in defence with Sheasel, Martin, Holmes, and Sinclair, sorry. LDU, Neil, Dacos, Clary, Cherry, DDK, Flynn in the flex, forwards Rankin, McRae, Smith, Daniel, then the rookies' thoughts. Yeah, that all looks pretty good to me, mate. Like, that'd be a pretty fair setup. I mean, the only thing I'd say, Horn Francis probably deserves to be in, but you've got Rankin, so maybe you can't get both. But Shrimpy, Holmes, or Wanganeen Miller, I would go Holmes. I just think with his inside ball winning ability in the guts, I think he's got that better chance of going 110 than Wanganeen Miller. James, Bowie and Saligo for the cash cow pods of the year. Hope you're well, shorty. Wow, that is bold. I like Saligo slightly more. I think Bowie is going to take a lot of kick-ins, bit of a distributor, but you're brave. You're braver than me. I'll tell you that. Makaza, doing a great job, mate. Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Thoughts on Powell? Gold Coast Powell. Probably not for me. I think he's a guy that's a really nice player, but he probably doesn't find enough of the footy. I think he's someone that will have those games where you're like, wow, he's a good player. But I don't think consistently, week on week, he's enough of an accumulating type. Good player, probably better options in SuperCoach, I reckon. Wow. Rosie and Dawson are fighting it out. And Day is left on 19%. The disrespect. Who cares about the last practice game? It's just a pracky. Come on. Day is going to... I'll let you have your fun here over the next few minutes on the poll here. But then I really want to get you... I want to get your thoughts on what Day will average because I am all about him. Gaming HD, mid-price madness in the midfield this year. Yeah, mate. Was on Day, but he's going to have less game... Going to have a less game than likes of Chera, Will Ashcroft, Oliver Rosie. Day will be a good scorer, but with the bye, maybe get him after it. Fair enough. I mean, look, maybe the bye is scaring people off. I don't know, but I just was convinced watching him against the Cats. James, thoughts on starting Josh Sin? If he's named, which you'd imagine he would be, yeah, I could live with that. I wouldn't rush out to try and find the extra cash for him. But yeah, I could wear it for sure. Flag Blues, thoughts on Cleary? Yeah, I'm about that. I think he looks like a nice, handy type of player. Can intercept. I think the Dogs are looking for that type. I just want Bailey Dale to be fit because I want to know if Cleary's in their team when Dale is also in their team. That'll be the kicker for me. Sammy, what do you think about Noah Anderson? Yeah, very good option. Of course, we want him to sort of handle the tag a bit better, play a bit better away from home. But now that he's been relinquished of that bye, let's wait and see exactly how that looks when the AFL land the games. But yeah, he's a very good operator and at a solid price. Feel like he could go 110. Luke, with the Suns and Dons game, I hate how the AFL are considering playing games most likely towards the end of the season. They play twice, and they also should not play each other twice within 5 days. Yeah, look, I haven't had a bit of a read on when they'll play. You sound like you're a bit more up to it than me, but yeah, they definitely wouldn't have them playing within 5 days. Like you wouldn't really want to play them within 5 weeks. So I'll be interested to see when they do it. I'd imagine they'd flip around a bye to have them on a similar bye and just play the game there, but we'll see. Yeah, Shorty, I wanted to send you my team. Have Insta and Discord. How do I find you? Oh, I don't really check Insta much. Oh, geez. Probably the Facebook page is probably the best. I'm most active on TikTok, but you can't send your actual picture to your team. But yeah, maybe the Facebook. But I'm a bit of a shocker for checking the social inbox. It's hard because a lot of people send me messages, and I make sure I get back to the comments when I can. But it's really hard to keep up with the inboxes. Otherwise, you just never catch up. Kaz, thoughts on Bailey Smith staying in the side even without opening round? Yeah, absolutely. I do not need to be convinced on Smith. He's a lock. He's an absolute lock for me. Makaza, Ed Langdon playing inside mid this year, not on a wing. Thoughts? Yeah, I saw that too. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Draft option for me. Probably one that you could be like, oh, I got him in a bit of a bargain. Everyone thinks he's a wingman, but he's playing inside. But nah, not for Classic, though. Not for Classic. Luke, hope they play it before gather around and rearrange the buys, but I don't think that's been spoken about. Nah, it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. Big live today. Oh, it is Flag Blues. It really is, mate. And I'm looking forward to Monday's live as well. That'll be huge as we really finalise some teams. Daniel, Chera or Rosie? Do we think Rosie gets tagged? Yeah, I do. That's what I mentioned before. There's sort of different picks, though. Rosie's one that you're expecting to be an absolute premium. Chera, you're hoping he can, but it's okay if he's a stepping stone as well. So there's slightly different picks. If I had to pick either, it would be Chera. That's not head-to-head. That's taking into consideration their price. Dylan, DeConing or English? DeConing for me, quite clearly. I think he's in for a really big year. Flag Blues, Jagger to become a beast like Thilthorpe. Which Jagger are we talking about? I'm looking forward to Jagger Smith being an absolute beauty buy next year. Craze Fit, Flynn Flex, will he cover anyone or just Rucks? So the way the Flex works is basically it gives you an extra scorer. So you've got 23 scoring players, but your score will be made up of the best 22 scorers. So, and then with exchanging your flex, if you want to bench Flynn or if Flynn gets injured, you can only bench him with the ruck bench. So you can only swap those guys. So that would be the risk. If you have Boyd on the bench and Flynn in the flex and Boyd's not playing and then Flynn gets injured, you can't just sit him on the bench. You really got to make a call. So that would be the only thing would restrict you. But then you could argue the exact same thing with R2. But that's pretty much how it works. Ollie Holland says Flag Blues. Not for me. He's one that had to really knock the door down, and he just hasn't. So I'm happy to pass on him. And yeah, Rosie takes it out. There you go. Well, look, I am very interested on your thoughts on Will Day's average. How many averages? What can we do? All right. Let me know your thoughts. For what it's worth, I think it's 106 to 110 and closer to 110. Just getting my spot back. Kepsy Max, what's up? If Blakey and McInerney take some of the footy from Roberts this week, what are you going to do? Yeah, I expect Blakey to a little bit. McInerney, not so much. But look, I guess I'll have to reassess. I'd probably, I've got some cash to just go up to Jaden Short. I might do that. probably more likely go down to Fraser and maybe upgrade some rookies down back. But yeah, that'd be my rough idea. But I suppose we'll cross that bridge if we do get there. Luke, Callahan and Pal Pepper, or Finn O'Sullivan and Baz? Or wait to see how Callahan goes opening round. Already have Chera. I like the way you're thinking. I like Callahan. But of those options, I'd have to go Baz Lenker and O'Sullivan. But yeah, clearly if Callahan goes off in opening round, we're going to start to have a bit of a close look, aren't we? So I think that's worthwhile. Bazookia, Sanders or Baz Lenker, definitely Bailey Smith. Very confident on him. He'll average high 90s in my opinion. Kepsy Max, any inappropriate cats themed names? I'm sure there'll be some out there. Luke, what time's the quiz? No quiz tonight, mate. I need a bit of footy to work the quiz. I need a bit of a round. So I'll only have 2 games to work off, but Monday night we will have a quiz. Connor, are Essendon and Gold Coast rookies a write-off now? No, definitely not. If anything, it might be helpful. So they might get a more preferable buy option, or they might dodge that buy that we had thought they were going to cop. So wait and see, but definitely not write-offs. Lachlan, hey, Shorty, wish me luck. I'm going Flynn R2. Well, good luck, mate, and I bloody hope it goes well because I'm going R2 as well with him. So we'll be the brave ones. We'll see how we go. Jack, g'day, mate. How are you? You must be happy with Flynn's performance. Made some big changes to my team too. Would love your thoughts on it. For sure, mate. Flick me some questions, mate. I would love to hear it. Or, of course, you know how to find me. But, yeah, Flynn was good. I thought he did what he needed to do to convince me and give me a bit of confidence, which I think he makes my overall team look a bit better. So I'm happy with that. Luke, Shorty, how do you feel about Kingy and Joey not on 360 anymore apart from tomorrow? Really? So what are they doing now? What's going on with this show? I thought they were the main guys. What, have they been replaced by Simpson and Longmire or something? What's going on, Luke? Jesus. And then he continues on. Would love the old 360 music back. Feels a bit weird without it, not going to lie. But also I feel it's a fresh start. Yeah, look, they've obviously sat around and been like, we need a fresh start, boys. So it's been a very deliberate setup. But, yeah, bit disappointing. I think there's part of me that just doesn't really like the change, but bring a bit of this back. Good stuff. Good stuff, baby. That's even older, I reckon. What about this one? Yeah, this is what we're after. What's Kath? Yeah, I think little tweaks to intros and stuff. Of course, things evolve, but they've totally changed their vibe, which rattles me a bit. Michael, what do you think Laird will average with the new halfback role? About low hundreds. So I think back in the day, he got up to around 108, 109 as a halfback flanker. His best averages have been as a mid. The last 4 weeks last year, he was a consistent 90 to 100 guy. So, yeah, I am happy to wait on him and see how he goes. D-Mac just randomised the draft pick 2. It is for yours truly. Wowee. I hope he can get Nick Dacos. I wonder who'll go first pick. Nick, thoughts on Fraser down back? Yeah, for sure. I think I've said it a couple of times, but I'd love to see how they combine when Dale's in the team. So we won't get that look, which is a bit of a pity, but I still think the role's there. I like him as a player. What's the Will Day average going? $96 to 100 and then 101 to 105. Far out. Mate, if Will Day doesn't average 100 for the year, mate, I'll be doing this live in a pair of Speedos, all right? I hope no one screen records that. Jesus Christ. But, yeah, no injuries, though. No injuries. If any injury-affected scores, I will not put the Speedo on. Anthony, Cherry R1, DeConing R2, and then we've got Flynn in the flex. Yeah, I think that's a pretty popular setup. I respect it. I think that's a good call. Josh, much prefer footy classified, although I love Jared Waitley. Also a massive consumer of the Age Real Footy podcast. Okay, I haven't listened to that one much. Fox Footy podcast with David Zeta and ESPN Footy Pod with Christian Jolly, who works for Champion Data. Fantastic insight. Thank you, mate. I will have to check those down. Are they all free to access, or are they on Spotify, or where do you sort of find those? Because I love me a podcast. Disco, have we talked O'Driscoll yet? Yeah, we have discussed him just a little bit. Probably not a main guy, but yeah, I think he's a lock, isn't he? Absolute lock. Harry, where are the Dons finishing, Shorty? Look, I've got him missing the 8, mate. If I had to say, probably, it might be harsh, but I'm feeling like 11th or 12th. Jeez, could be a tough one. Detroit, he had a great end of the season, D'Ambrosio. I might lock in Camden McIntosh instead of him. Jeepers. Now, I know he did have a great finish. I just think historically a wingman isn't someone we see averaging 110, which I feel he needs to be around. Flag Blues ladder review. Oh, you want to know me my top ones, eh? Oh, I might have to do a bit of a ladder predictor video. Luke, based on Rosie and Cherry's early fixture, I feel they can make big coin for us. Then we can flip to Dacos after he faces tags from Bedford, Drew, Jordan, etc. Fair. I mean, you've given that a bit of thought. I like that. Look, I'm just locking Dacos in. Potential tags, yeah, they might happen, but I just think the way he was the other night, I just couldn't resist. But I like your thought process there. Kappa, what do we think about Sin as an option in the back line? Yeah, I think he's worth considering for sure. Probably one that I don't think you have to rush at getting, but definitely worth considering. Hockball, got a big one for you. Flynn, Rankin, Anderson, and Short, or Chera, Clark, and Murphy Reed. Want to go first option, but scared of anti-potting Cherry. Thoughts? Yeah, there's a bit in that. Look, I do prefer the first. I think if you put those 4 guys in front of me, I think they probably outscore the next ones, particularly Murphy Reed. I'm not sure about him, but clearly it's whether you feel comfortable not having Cherry. I'm taking the risk, but yeah, I do like the look of that first option if you can absorb that risk. Geez, I might have to get me bloody laptop charger going here soon. Good stuff, Flag Blues. Good stuff. Lukey boy, going to head off to watch the front bar. Sure to chat to you soon. No worries, mate. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate that. Dundelas, Holmes had 39% CBAs last year. What do you think his CBAs or the top 3 CBAs at Cats will be this year? Yeah, I think it'll be Holmes. I think Bailey Smith. And then, yeah, I still feel like you'll have a bit of a defensive mid like an Atkins or a Bose in there. And maybe Nevitt if they give him opportunity. But, yeah, Holmes he'll raise those numbers to about 70%, I reckon. Wealth of knowledge, best player since Gary Blett Jr. doesn't know what a tagger is. Who are we referring to? Or you just asked me who the best player is since. Gee, we've had some guns. I mean, since him, Dusty is probably the one, isn't he? But honestly, someone like Cripps is starting to put together a CV. Hey. Kobe, thoughts on Cherry R1, Nank R2, and deconing the flex? A lot of cash. Look, I'm not sold on Nank being a top 3 or 4 ruck this year, but I can understand your thoughts. But yeah, I would try and loosen up a bit of coin there. Mitchimus Prime, g'day legend. Hey mate, how are you? Thanks for popping in. Luke, also before I go, Shorty, been watching Footy Classified this year. No, I haven't, mate, but tell you what, if I fall out of love with 360, I might have to. Braden, Sarong and Powell Pepper or Flynn and Dawson. Flynn and Dawson for me there, mate. Zed, reckon it's worth ranking or saving 120K or so and going for Baz. Oh, look, I think Smith is a lock. He's a definite lock at that price, but I am a big rat for Rankin. But I think if you had to pick who should I have to have, Smith. Flag Blues, do I swap Oliver Hollins to a rookie? And if so, who? Yeah, definitely I would. Just anyone you don't have, like a Sheldrick, an O'Driscoll, or anyone like that. Just you'll know the main ones by their ownership. So, and he also says got basketball training Monday, so might be a bit of a late live. Oh, that's all right. Might be late for it. That's okay, mate. Well, all the best, mate. I'll hopefully talk to you later on then. Luke, Cherry, most underrated player in the comp. Oh, I reckon he's got his plaudits now. Like, I feel like he's very well respected as the real number one guy alongside Gorn. So I don't know if he's underrated anymore. Maybe we warm to him slowly, but I think he's getting some credits. HFC forever, Flynn or Garcia as the flex. I'd feel more confident with Garcia. Like, if you had to pick one, I would go Garcia. Mitchum is Prime, Rankin and Draper versus Jackson and Ashcroft versus Baz and Garcia. Ooh, I'd definitely rule out the Jackson one. Of those, I'd go Baz and Garcia. Cameron, I've got Josh Sin, Shorty. Got managed in the Amy game after not playing in the sim week before. Huge raps from Ken and senior players and kick-ins. Don't worry about the pracky games. He's ready. Port fan, by the way. Wow. Okay. Jeez. I didn't realize the absolute hype was like that. Okay. I will try and get him into my team. Thank you. Big fan of content. How many defenders, rookies are you starting? Can't justify starting more than one. Look, at the moment, I do have 2 on the field, which, yes, is slightly risky. But that's the way I've got it. But, yeah, I would probably prefer to have it at 1. Yes, okay, I see, Luke. Don't know if I like that. Gosh. Oh, I need to get the charger. I'll be back. It's prime time, mate. It's nearly pre-season. It's nearly start of the season, bro. Alrighty. I reckon we'll go, probably only go another 15. I'll do my best to get all the questions. But, yeah, hopefully, if I haven't got to yours specifically, hopefully I've covered something roughly around what you're thinking. Sammy, I picked Cherry, pick 1 in my draft. Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. Good luck, mate. I hope you go well. I love me a draft. Flag Blues, top picks for draft. It's a 2-2-1-2. Oh, man. Look, I mean, I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. Like, I mean, try and just nail. It's not more so about the players. It's more about where you go in terms of the position. I'd be definitely going a ruck early and getting some midfield guns, trying to make sure you get one of Horn, Francis, or Rankin. I think they're clearly the top 2. And Shees will be a huge one to try and get. But, yeah, I feel like going hard at the back line early because I feel like we've bat a bit deeper in the forward line. Placey, is Flynn a must-have, and do you think you could pick him R2? Definitely not a must-have. Definitely not. But R2 is risky. I mean, it's what I'm doing, but it is risky. Not a must-have. Good option, though. Braden, I'm not sure Will Day even averages 90. Think you're overrating him. Wow. What makes you say that, mate? Like, this guy is one of the classiest young players in the comp and has averaged 90 with an interrupted preseason and season. I would love to hear your thoughts. Justin, Budgie Smugglers for the win. Oh, yes, Josh. Here we go. ESPN Footy Podcast, Fox Footy, The Age, all free. Great stuff. Footy Classified also podcast. Lovely, mate. Thank you. Thank you. Here we are. Hey, Shorty, Neil, and Pal Pepper, or Day and Baz Lenker. Cheers, mate. Oh, definitely Baz and Day for me, for sure. Josh, g'day, mate. This has been melting my brain. Would you rather Dawson, Roberts, and Fielding Davidson, or would you rather O'Driscoll, Primo Defender, and Sanders? Yeah, the second one for me. And it'd be Max Holmes for mine. That would be the way I would go. Yeah, look, I think Davidson, you could field him. I mean, he's definitely one of the better options as a rookie you could field, but I like the second one. Lockie Peters, what do you reckon of Port Adelaide and Fremantle SuperCoach players, especially primos with a great draw to start the season? Yeah, look, I tend to not pick them too much on the draw because I feel like premiums, you need them to have a good draw for the whole year. Really, a premium should need to go well against anyone. You might pick a cash cow on a good early draw, but no, I probably haven't decided it around that, but they do have a nice draw, so can understand that. Anthony, thoughts on Powell Pepper? Nah, not for me. I just don't think he really plays a scoring role. His body's just about shot. He just seems more impactful to me. He just seems like a really good option as a sub, to be honest. Kepsy Max, Dacos or Neil in the mids, and Rankin versus Holmes elsewhere. Dacos for me, for sure. As good as Neil is, he's had his prime years and he still might be in them. We'll wait and see. But Dacos has it all ahead of him. So I'd go him. And of those two, look, I'm big on both of them. If I had to pick one, probably Holmes. Lachlan, Stewart feels really underrated and a forgotten man. I'm really on him. Yeah, I'm all about him. I think he's underpriced. I suppose the drawback is we're picking a premium with a clear weakness to a tag, and we're not really sure, whether he's mastered that or not. So I suppose that's why I'm waiting just to see if he does get a tag. Maybe he does. Maybe we get him in a nice price. Maybe he doesn't, and we pick him up because he's mastered that craft. But Jackson bought in Neil, Clark, and Zorko for Bont and Nas. Okay. Look, I don't mind the Bont one. Obviously had to happen. I wouldn't lose all faith in Wanganeen Miller. I still think he's a good call. Lachlan Peterson, thanks for the league code the other day. Good luck at the Hackers this year for Geelong, where the Cats go to die. Nah, no worries, mate. Thank you. See you, Disco. Catch you, mate. You have a good one too, man. Dylan, surely you're dropping league codes now. Nah, you're right, mate. Look, if you guys have stuck around, bloody oath. Now, please, if you are in a league already, don't double up, but jump into this league. Where are we? Get your mitts around that one. Don't really trust Bailey Smith, said Anthony. Why is that, mate? Look, he's missed a lot of footy. Don't get me wrong, but would love to hear your thoughts. I think he's in for a great season. Jordan, no TDK, Shorty. What you doing? No, I've got him. I've got him, mate. He's in my team. So, no, I'm all about him. Gaming HD, love LDU, but Clarko shares the load of Simpkin, Powell, Phillips, Sheasel. LDU will score well, but maybe not the next level we hope if he doesn't own that midfield load. Clarko loves the kids. Oh, look, I see what you're saying, but Will Phillips, he's not going to impact LDU. And look, Simpkin, wasn't that long ago that Simpkin was a bit on the out. Look, I feel like every club has a core three mids, and I think it's Sheasel, LDU, and Powell. I think they're the main ones. Look, we see Bont, Libba, and Treloar go really well, two of which go 110. So, no, I'm confident on LDU for sure. Luke, so who's a must out for Neil and Zorko? Who do you think you will like? Who we have? Like, I don't know if I can fit Holmes, Zorko, and Sheasel. It's a risky one, tricky one. Look, I'd be going Neil ahead of Zorko. I just don't like Coleman coming back and how that affects him. I guess we don't know. It might not affect him, but I'd prefer to go elsewhere. Big fan of content. Sarong or Dacos for M1? Definitely Dacos. He's got that genuine 120 ability. Braden, maybe a bit strong saying Day won't average 90, but I think Hawks won't be as good as they were last year, and Day will suffer. I'd be happy to admit if I'm wrong, just don't see the hype. No, that's fair, mate. And look, I think there's every chance the Hawks drop off a bit. There's sometimes they bounce, the team will bounce, and then you can't live up to the expectation. I do think that's fair. I guess I don't necessarily feel that Hawks' performance is directly indicating today's performance, even though it'll have some impact. But no, it'll be an interesting one to watch, mate. Thanks. Lachlan, Knackery was meant not Hackers. Yeah, right. I was wondering, I don't know if it often gets called the Hackers, but I knew what you meant. Josh, catch you, Shorty. See you, mate. Stay out of your dad and Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, fair. That's solid advice. Thank you. Stay safe, my friend. Damn, y'all are quick. That's crazy. That filled instantly. Oh, no. Oh, gee whiz. Already full. Another code, one for the lads. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. How many spots have I got? Look, we've got to respect the Shorty SuperCoach YouTube live goers. Let's get another league code here. Shorty SuperCoach 10 we're up to. All right. Now, if you did get in that one, hands off. Hands off. This is for those who missed out. Joe, Daniel is a popular man. Clearly, any chance of a hog review? You're a funny man. Jordan, MB, oh, your Rucks are Flynn and TDK. Yep. Yeah, no, sorry, mate. Look, risky on the Flynn, no doubt. But, yeah, I do love Taconing. Braden, does Sarong cop a tag? Is Brayshaw a better option? I prefer Sarong. Look, he might cop a tag, but we could say that for all gun mids. I mean, I haven't seen a real weakness to the tag yet for him, so I would go Sarong. Anthony, McRae, a lock? Yeah, definitely. Big lock for sure. Big fan of content. People are forgetting that Zorko is 42, injury prone, and always on the edge of getting a 6-week suspension. Yeah, well, that's it. He could go down any moment. He is 36. Glove, what's up, mate? How are you? Oh, Bazook's in. Mitch, yes. Breadman's in. Sammy, good stuff. Wealth of knowledge, yeah. Oh, really, mate? This it warms my heart, boys. Warms my heart because I always hear, I can never get in. It filled in so quick. So it is nice to see some of you legends get in. Good stuff. Good stuff. Dylan, absolutely. Oh, no worries, mate. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know, Braden. It's crazy, mate. Got in, nice musket. Reese, good stuff. No worries. Look, I try to do it the fairest way, release some randomly, release some scheduled. It is hard. I always try to encourage people to not double up. I never really know if they do or not, but why no love for Jackson with Shrek out? Well, mainly because he hasn't gone into the main ruck. It's been Reedy, and it's almost deja vu. Darcy will come back round 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, like it happened last year, and it really screwed us. So that'd be why. Josh is in. Nice. Placey, how many mid-primos you starting? I have 5. Could go 4. Then go 5 primos in defense. Look, honestly, I'm only going, you tell me which of these are primos. You'd probably only say 2. Dacos, LDU, Will Day, Oliver, and Will Ashcroft. I'm hoping a couple of those turn into premiums, but yeah, probably not as deep as yours there. Breadman, League 10 is mine. Light work of you. Oh, good luck, mate. Good luck. Cameron, I've got Gorney over Cherry. Thoughts? Back the GOAT Ruck, who's still not sharing with anyone. Also played through injury last year. Look, I prefer Cherry. He's not sharing with anyone either, but look, I'm not going to knock Gorn too much. I just think he's been around for ages. He's done it for so long, as you say. Does that mean he's one step closer to maybe having some concerns with his body? He's getting older. He's shouldered the ruck for so long where you feel like Cherry's just at the absolute start of his prime. But, yeah, I guess that's what makes it interesting, doesn't it? Pooj, Prob's going to sound dumb, but does SuperCoach include round 0 on it? No dumb questions here, mate. So round 0 will count towards a player's rolling average and therefore affect their price, but it won't have any impact on our teams. There'll be no scoring. There'll be no rankings or anything like that. That'll all kick off round 1. Gaming HD, what do we see Rankin's average going from 97? It's either him or short in defense for me. The forward rookie's much better than the defensive rookies, whose average will go up more on their current short or rank. Well, put it this way, I haven't done the maths on it, but I see Rankin going up to about 108, 109. And I'd say short could be anything from best case 97, 98 if he gets back to his best. My real guess or prediction would be 93, 94. So it probably doesn't help you much because I think I've probably just said they both go up about 11 or 12. But if you're picking between the two, definitely Rankin. Dylan, in 2023, I won one of your leagues from 7th place and missed out on joining a league last year. Oh, mate. Good job, mate. Are you in now? Did you get in one of those? I can't remember. Anthony, don't trust Luke Parker. No, I'm with you there. I lost interest in him a few weeks back. Doesn't seem to have a main role for us, so I think that's fair. Glove, have had Stewart all preseason, but saw some comments from Scotty today about him being in the midfield as much as possible. Okay. Only caught half of the preseason game, but the normal role seems secure. Honestly, I thought he would go to half back with the occasional mid, but that's interesting from Scotty. Right. I don't like it. I feel like he's okay. He can kind of play midfield, but he's a genuine All-Australian half back. So, Breadman, Shorty, you should do a Super League where you invite previous winners into one league. Yes. Yeah, mate, I like that. I just don't know how I would go about fully maybe I'll try and do that at the end of this year. It's always hard identifying exactly who, trying to get people to actually like join it. Yeah, I like the idea. If you have an idea how to do it logistically, I am all ears. Luke, that could be a big difference for you in score sometimes with Flynn instead of Cherry. Oh, definitely. It's a huge risk, mate. I don't love it. It's just on balance of the team. Big risk for mine, no doubt. We'll just do these last couple of questions, I reckon. Placey, which defensive rookies would you feel comfortable having on the field? Currently have Pryor and Reed. No, the answer is not many. I mean, more comfortable. Cleary, if he's named, the couple you mentioned. Leak, I feel like Leak has an okay, but the facts are I don't feel super comfortable with any. So it's going to be hard to get a read on them. Dylan, Cleary or save cash by going trainer? Wait on the teams for that one, for both, really. I think both will be interesting to see if they're named. Honestly, if they're both named, you could go both. I wouldn't lock in Draper, Anthony. I feel like he's just a bit on the fringe, maybe a sub-risk, so I wouldn't lock him in, but let's wait and see on the teams. Tiger Rewalt, Shorty, drop another code. I left and missed that one. Oh, mate, I can't drop another one. I need to save a couple for next week's stream as well and maybe in a video, but I'll try and look after you. Gaming HD, are you going to try and study up on the Premier? Yes, I will, mate. I thought I did study up. I thought it was just going to click over or something would pop up. God, what a nightmare. Dylan, thoughts on Ed Richards? I've been massive on him. I reckon he'd go 115. Wow. Look, I would have half entertained it, but he's had a bit of an injury. So I puts a line through him because he just hasn't had to go that. I feel like he'd have to have a full preseason. Cameron, Sin also went to America to fix his soft tissue issues. Okay, this will be my homework for tonight. Trying to shuffle some things to fit him in. So appreciate your insight, mate. I always like hearing from the fans. They always know well. But look, we might wrap it up there. That is one of the bigger streams we've done, and so we should, mate. It's leading up to preseason. Yeah, lock him in, Anthony. Lock him in. We might go and refresh this Supercoach side, see if I can get Joshy Sin in there. Maybe watch a bit of On the Couch or see if the old midweek tackle's back. So, yeah, if you didn't catch it before, I'm on school camp next week, so I won't do my normal live, but we'll do live on Wednesday. I'll try and do that premiere. I'll try and do the premiere again, Gaming HD. But I would say normal time, just on a Monday, probably around 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Just see how we're going. We'll also start live on TikTok as we always do and lead into our YouTube one. So I'm going to try and get a few videos going over the weekend and try and schedule one most days, but we'll just see how we're going for time. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for all your comments. Appreciate all your involvement. We love the Shorty community, and there's no better vibes than the ones that come on the lives, you know. They are the real ones. So, look, I'll talk to you soon. Catch you Monday. See you in the next video. Have a good night. Cheers, guys.